Abraham Curry, the founder of Carson City, who created the hotel because we had hot springs. This big old pond behind us is all warm water. Well, the legislatures came out one night, got to drink and got to fight and tore the place up. And the legislatures got to agree the only way to reimburse Mr. Abraham Curry was buy the property from him, and they turned it into a territorial prison. So a lot of the portions of the prisons we're going to see were built in different decades. Purposes changed throughout. When you guys left, where you guys live in Phoenix? When you
Yuma.
came up, did you go to Vegas and then through Tonopah and came up here, or did you come through?
Yeah.
Did anybody come through California?
I did. I'm from Yuma, so I drove through San Bernardino and the whole California side. Yeah.
Through Bishop.
Yep.
When you went north of Bishop, you see a sign that says Convict Lake. That was named
yes.
after a big escape that happened here in, I think, early 1910, maybe. You don't hold me to that, but yeah, when you drive by and you see that sign, it was an escape that happened here. You got to think about it when it happened. Model Ts weren't even built till what, 1910, 1911, and so everything was still horses and mules. So the bad guys escaped. Look at these old bars on the second floor. Those are the old smooth bars. They didn't have fences back then. They didn't really have towers. They did have this one tower at a particular time that was a lot taller back then. But on the backside there was no tower. So once you cut through those bars, you were on the run. So there's a group of these bad guys that got out. We had horse stables back here. They got horses and they proceeded to what is now known as Convict Lake. And so they get down there, and our warden here got some guys from Carson City. They formed a posse. See those mountains on the far right? That's the way to LA right there. You just keep going south. And so the Carson City posse caught up with the bad guys near Mammoth, had a shootout. Well, one of the posse members got shot and killed. He was a 14-year-old boy from Carson City. And the town folk in Bishop found out that they shot a 14-year-old. They formed their own posse. And they all met back up at Convict Lake and had a big shootout up there. Some of the bad guys made it over the Sierras down into the valley, got away. They have a book, it's called Quest for Freedom, for sale on here. It's pretty interesting. So anyways, Nevada State Prison, established 1862. Nevada didn't even become a state until 1864. So this was a territorial prison for 2 years. If you guys want to line up behind the rock, get a picture of you behind the rock.
All right.
Yeah. So when we started building other prisons, this ended up being the max. It was a max prison up until 1990. Then they built the new max at Ely, which they're currently using today. So unfortunately, when it changed from a max to a medium, security got lighter, and you'll see a little more graffiti on the walls. It didn't used to be like that. It was a max when I worked there. I started here in 85. When I was 25, I started here in 1985. 5 years here, and went on to transportation division, and went on to another one. So I did 30 years as a correctional officer. Mike here, he started in Las Vegas. We came up here almost the same time. I was 86, yeah, so he's probably got a few stories also.
And how I got involved with you guys is our great-grandfather was a warden here from 1925 to 1935. His name's Matt Penrose. He's actually the first warden that put a legal gas chamber. We all have an involvement with this place, and we're just hoping to raise more money and keep it going.
So what was the active prison till 2012?
Yes.
2012. It wasn't really all that long ago. Yeah, let's go ahead and go on in.
So the gas chamber was still in use after the prison closed, or what was
Actually,
the deal? Or
when Matt
death chamber. I'm sorry.
Yeah, when Matt Penrose, he actually witnessed Guy John getting gas, and what they did is they gassed him in a butcher shop, and it was like 7 minutes of dying. So my great-grandfather said no one will ever die like that again.
Yeah, that's.
So they built a gas chamber, just a square box, and I got pictures of that. I'll give it to you guys, like see. And it took 2 minutes, which was a lot better than 7. And then eventually, when that of course leaked and everything, so they took the building blocks and that went right back into the prison. So they built a new one, death chamber. Now it's gas. So, I know, that's true. But anyway, so that's how that worked. So anything that they built, they would take those blocks and put it back in. So that has to hold a lot of energy. You know?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Thank you.
Look at all those older items, cheese hanging in there. You guys ever watch that movie Mustang Part of there? You'll recognize some of the inmate art. It's up on the wall.
That's where we hope to have our museum in place.
Come on this way.
And here you are, guys. Welcome to Annex.
Good place to film.
Chills.
Good place to film. It's no place to
You guys, and this is just the lower yard. I mean, this will take you all night. You'll see. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with Joe. Chris and I are gonna head in. Let you guys do the tour. Do you want us, Joe, to open up the kitchen, or do you guys got it? Okay.
This is an inmate bathroom. If I'm an inmate and I want to use the bathroom, my kids is a button. It's going to send a signal to that officer when the gun post. He'll release the button and the thing opens up. I go in there, secure the gate behind me. In this bathroom, there's been at least, that I know, 3 inmates that have been killed in there. You go in there and there's a pipe running along the ceiling. They've been hung in there. One murder story is about probably 1981, 82. We had an inmate that was housed here in the cell house and was getting ready to go home. And no one knew that his girlfriend was sending him nudie pictures of the 12-year-old daughter. And so this inmate tells the other inmates about what's going on. Those inmates weren't putting up with it because they knew when that dude was going out to the streets, he was going to be messing with that girl. They figured a way to get him in the bathroom before this thing was even built. They just turned his head into a tomato in there. Ended up hanging him. That's where they found him, hung in there. We had another guy beat to death right out here. One of the most powerful groups on this yard was the AWs, the Aryan Warriors. They weren't really truly recognized from the Aryan Brotherhood out of California. But they did a lot of sticking. They had a lot of killings up here. They had the double lightning bolts up under the left arm. They, at one time, could do work stoppages. They controlled a lot of things on this yard. So we'll talk about another murder, big one that was happened up here in the culinary in a minute. We'll go up there. Oh, one other murder I can think of. One other murder too is on the second floor. The inmates, I know they were AWs. They unscrewed a light bulb, figured a way to fill the light bulb up with gasoline. And the guy they wanted to target, when he came in, flipped the switch, it blew up and burned him to death.
Oh.
In there. There's been numerous stabbings, beat downs, people beat to death. Before we had the death chamber, we had the gallows. They used to hang a lot of guys right over here near the cave entrance. So the quantity of inmates that died by the state and inmate upon inmate, there's a lot. So if you come across any kind of spirits in here, you don't really know what decade you're even dealing with.
Right.
It could
Yeah.
be from 1860s to 2012.
Okay.
Let's go this way. Now we can't open this door up here. Now the room up on the upper left, that's the education. When they filmed the movie Mustang, they used that as the wardrobe up in there. The ladies that were running the wardrobe, they got spooked up in there. They said have all their clothes hanging on the racks. They'd come up there in the morning and there'd be a few articles of clothing laying on the ground. So it kept happening every day, and they just started getting the willies. But it's kind of
Can't get used to that.
Go up there, you can walk all the way through here and come out this way. When it's dark, it's pretty creepy up in there. We've had some really good orbs up in this one room up here also. Let's keep most.
Okay.
This is the entrance where the inmates come in for your visit.
This door here?
Yeah.
So is this with the, no, this is not where the death chamber is, right?
Oh no, death chamber is going to be in this corner area, a little bit set back.
Okay. What about the basketball court? Any incidents there? I'm pretty sure, right? Fights, riots.
When they filmed the movie Innocent Men with Tom Selleck, it was a pretty good scene where they utilized this basketball court. So once again, the arch here is another part where it used to be having all the prison bars in it, where they bring the inmates in on horse-drawn jail carts, bring them in, and then you come out and get into. Let's go over here to the shade, the cave. So this is where they kept inmate Eugene Austin.
You guys can go ahead. You can go ahead.
I just discovered this on YouTube the other day. If you go to YouTube and type in Nevada State Prison lobotomy, you'll see a film of this lower yard when inmates were here. It was filmed in 1973, 74. Kind of interesting flick. Because they'll actually interview Eugene Austin. Eugene Austin was a Native American Indian, born up, I believe, in Lovelock, Nevada area. He was a young man, 25 years old, killed somebody up there, came in here when he was 25. And he was a pretty hostile individual. He was mean to other inmates, staff, anybody. And you just couldn't house him with the other inmates. And they end up housing him in here. There's a trap door up on top where they'd actually open the trap door and lower food down to him. He was the type of individual, if you walked up there and opened that door, he'd come out swinging on you. So he ended up doing like 30 years here. And before they released him, I don't know if you guys know what a frontal lobotomy is. You got the front section of your brain there where they make some incisions and take out the frontal lobes, I guess, of your brain. And yeah, it made him extremely docile, and they released him out to the streets. Went over to California, I believe, never to be heard from again. I mean, you could walk up there and kind of look in there, shine your flashlight if you want. It's actually that deep cave. You could probably park 6 or 7 foot something.
Wow. Oh yeah. Wow, that's crazy. So he was in here for how many years again? Was Eugene in?
Well, he did 30 on the yard, but I don't know how many years he did it.
Oh, okay.
No, they said he was blind when he left, but I don't think it was because the cave was so dark. There's light there, but might have been diabetes.
Yeah.
If you look at video up on YouTube, if you're trying to create a video, you can probably blend that in somehow. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're in a rock quarry. So the top of this cliff, it wasn't a cliff 100 years ago. It was flat across where the inmates mined all this down. So the sandstone for the prison, the sandstone for the Capitol building downtown Carson City, a lot of office buildings, firehouses, a lot of it's quarry out here.
That's all from here.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys been by the Capitol building. It's kind of cheap. Like the gallows were right in here. So we never had an electric chair. We had gallows. One guy was shot by firing squad. And then it was gas. And then the lethal injection.
This is all right here in this area. The gallows were right here.
Yeah, we're going to take you to the death chamber.
Okay. I don't know. Was it? No.
You know, all prisons throughout the United States, culinary is one of the most volatile areas. Like I said, they always added an implement of security after a major incident. So in 1976, the black population was starting to get larger. The AWs, they didn't like the way these blacks were acting. They were starting to roll roughshod over some of them. They weren't putting up with it. So in 1976, a lot of the white boys got their shanks together. I think they killed 2 guys in here and numerous others stabbed. You know, a lot of these inmates, Vietnam ended in 1975. So when he and I got here in the early 80s, we still had a lot of Vietnam veteran inmates and officers. Just like today's world is we still have Desert Storm inmates, Desert Storm officers. They're just human nature. We'll go in the kitchen here. I got back to
75.
So let's come on in here.
All right.
This is the dining hall.
Chow hall.
Yep. Chow hall. You notice we keep it relatively clean.
Wow.
So when it was chow time, you would only open certain units or certain wings at a time because you would overwhelm this place, plus as far as keeping control and security, especially after the 1976 incident. So you get a line in on the other side of these fences. You can see that hole right there where they would slide your tray to you. Last man gets his tray and goes in, they close the door, and give, probably 10 minutes to finish it.
15.
By the time he got the tray,
Oh, he gets done.
most of them are ready to go, but we wouldn't let him go because we had controlled movement. They didn't just come out and just start walking around the yard. It was controlled. You had to be going somewhere when we were here when it was a max, even though they were general population. You got to realize it was a max. We had close custody inmates that never got out of their units. And we brought food up to them. So this is designed for general population.
Okay.
We've had some serious incidences in here. The guy in the gun cage, he had an 18-inch barrel, short barrel shotgun. It's a high standard. And he had a blank and then probably 7.5 birdshot. So what we do is we'd skip shoot our guys, if possible. If I'm giving this man a direct order to get down to the ground, and I, for some reason, have to shoot at him, I'm going to shoot. The 7.5 birdshot's going to come down and hit about 2 feet in front of where he's standing and skip up into your shins. I tell you what, I've seen some big muscle-bound dudes that get all tough, but they get hit with that skip shot.
They go down.
Here, there's no ground to skip shot. So we had these 2 guys fighting once, and the officer, I think, skipped off the table into their upper torsos.
Ooh.
Didn't turn out too good. Let's go this way. So there's a difference between the dining hall and the kitchen. The kitchen, it's pretty spooky back there. I can get a little bit creepy just when I get back there. So this will be open to you. Yeah, there's been people killed in here. There's been people just severely beat. We've had a sergeant half. Remember when Fosno got half beat to death in here?
Yeah, I remember that. We used to issue our knives from that cage right there. They had to turn them back in before the meal started.
Through there?
Yeah. Right, I think it's back.
Oh.
This area here is pretty hot. Like these rooms, these refrigerators. Some people believe, this is a portal right in here. I've seen this one picture of these gals. There was no men with them. And there's a guy, it looks like he's got a faded orange inmate jumpsuit on with a waist restraint, with the cuffs just hanging there. He's standing there kind of like this, looking at the ladies, but he doesn't have a head on. Just
Wow.
weird, man.
That is.
There was no men in here with the ladies. And they're looking at it like, what the heck? So, come on over here. This room here, we got one capture where the orb was like a big old arm-like thing. And it was so bright, it was shining light on the floor, reflecting off the floor. I don't know if I call that an orb or what I call that, but it's pretty wild. Let's go keep on trying. You guys investigate this too.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a good feeling about this place back here.
Like I said, that kitchen.
Yeah. Felt different in there, yeah.
Well, you know, I don't know what to think of it. For a while there, I was the cart driver. We had these cushion trucks. And on the back of them, we had these it looked like a wooden coffin. So my crew would come down here, we'd wheel the coffins in there. What it is, they're to hold the trays of food, like big stainless steel vats of green beans, mashed potatoes, cheeseburgers, chicken fried steak, whatever the hell it is. And we'd load these coffins up. We'd load about 5 of them up. I used to come in here all the time. We'd do breakfast, lunch. We were doing 3 squares in 8 hours, remember?
Yeah, I remember.
We had this
Wow.
one inmate, I don't want to mention his name. For some reason he liked me. And he was kind of a pain in the ass. He said, "Hey Joe, how's it going, man?" I was like, "Hey man, whatever, my dude." He's always trying to talk to me. Sure, you talk to inmates, you always develop a rapport. It's just natural human beings. I wasn't trying to really shine the dude on, I just wanted a little standoffish. So he ended up, the closest he ended up from here, he got housed with his nutcase, where the inmate took a TV antenna and shoved it from one ear all the way to his skull and out the other, and then beat his head down flat, and then lit a fire on him. So it's probably now I'm on the Preservation Society maintenance team. Susan comes in. I'm not really that much into paranormal at the time, and so we're in the dark kitchen. People are taking pictures. I don't see anything. But later on, we looked at the pictures, and there's an orb about the size of a basketball with the letter J, a beautiful J in it. It also had a picture. See, I'm wearing my sandals. Picture of my top of my foot at the bottom of the damn thing. It's like,
Wow.
oh man, I don't know if that was his way of saying, "Hey, Joe."
You better believe.
See this top section here, you notice the wall is a fig. So that was the first women's prison wing up there. So we're talking extreme late 1800s, early 1900s. They end up building the new women's prison next door, which has currently been turned into a low, medium men's prison. They moved all the girls down to Las Vegas. That's where the new prison is. So if you see that corner over there, there's a room up in there. And once again, when I got involved in the Preservation Society, I'm up in there. I'm not into paranormal at all at the time. I'm up in there, and I don't know, man, something just got to me, like high blood pressure, accelerated heart rate, nauseous. Just like, and so a couple months later, now I'm up there with a guy who is into paranormal. And we're not doing paranormal stuff. We're just up there doing maintenance and kind of walking around. I'm getting hit again. Unbeknownst to me, he's getting hit. And when we got out of there finally, we didn't run out of there, we just got out of there. He goes, man, I don't know about you, but when I was up there, and I was feeling some weird energy. And I was like, so tell me about it. So we're going to go up there, and that to me is one of the most hot areas up there. I don't know if you guys seen that one black blob looking picture that Susan has was up there, but she has that music box. She has the good one. She paid about $400 for it, and there's times I'll take that box up there and start talking, get it set up, and I've had pretty good luck up there. Where that thing will start playing. I took it home the other day. Nothing. I take it up
Here.
there, and on the third floor. See the gray door? Your third window up. We've had 2 music boxes side by side on a plank between inner and outer perimeter, or inner and outer tier. And those things are just cranking away, man. Susan's got a picture. She's standing over here by the way pile, taking a picture of that window. I'm gonna have to show you the picture in her office of what showed up when she was taking a picture of that window when both those machines are cranking. You pull it in, you pull in the picture. It looks like 3 guys sitting there looking through a rectangle like you. Wait till you see the picture.
Yeah.
You see eyeballs, noses, everything. Off the hook. So we're going to be going in the cell house.
So all these.
We'll go in here in a minute.
Okay. So these areas that we're going through right now, these are the areas that we're going to have access to investigate, or.
Yep.
Okay.
Everything we're showing you. That's kind of why I'm giving you. We're going to cut you loose, where you can kind of
Okay.
do your thing. We're not going to be nibbing at your heels all the time. You can see the way these pop outs come down. This is what is set up. How big the cells used to be. Let me show you a better example on here. For example, this wall is solid. You can see where the toilet used to be. So you can imagine how 2 bunks in here, how small this would be. But then you gotta realize too, depending on what tier you're at, a lot of these guys are general population, so by 6:30 in the morning they'll pop out. Now, this was used as a property.
Yeah.
This was used as just like a sergeant's area, the command center. Now, you'll notice how short these tiers are. Wait till you get up on the 3rd and 4th floor.
Really?
Oh, they're a lot longer.
These are short.
Yeah. I'm not about the length. They're going to be the length. How many of them? There's a whole bunch of them. These are cells. That's why we call it a cell house. Set this one up, I could be back maybe in the 80s.
Okay.
When I started here in 85, these bars all got replaced in 1988. So they had the whole round smooth ones. And this section between inner tier and outer tier was actually bowed because of the settling of the ceiling. So the control panel, see how right now we have these electric switches to run the doors. back then you had these old cables you'd snap, and snap a cable on down the line, and you had these hooks that roll along. But to get the hooks to roll, there was a crank wheel over here where you had to crank the damn thing. So 1985, 1986, I bought my first Harley, right over to San Francisco, Alcatraz, take a tour. And the guy's in there flipping the switches, and I said, dude, that's an Alcatraz modern prison, man. That's what we're on that. Give you an example of those round, smooth bars right here. The true convict, you could give them shoelaces and toothpaste, and they could probably cut through this in maybe, I don't know, 6 months. Just sit there and keep rubbing toothpaste and shoelaces back and forth, back and forth. This toothpaste has abrasives in it where it'll eventually cut that steel.
Wow.
Do it. If you go in here, there's a barber's chair back in there. If you want to look at it.
Oh, that's where the barber's chair is?
Yeah. And you know, you had inmates that were assigned barbers. You had white barbers, you had black barbers, you had Mexican barbers. Everybody likes their hair.
Their hairstyles, yeah.
Yeah, let's go upstairs. Okay, so we're on the first floor. Yeah, look at the wear and tear on these stairs, man. These things are over 100, probably 50 years old. 100 miles out on these things.
Oh, yeah. They've been used.
So the sun sets in the west, the sun's gone behind the Sierras. So this is the west side of the building. You guys get lost on something. Now east side, west side. Susan's got a picture. See how long they are.
Man. Did we walk all that?
Oh, yeah.
Downstairs?
You bet you can. It's gonna be a any time.
No, but did we do that right now? Did we downstairs, or is it longer up here?
It's longer up here.
Oh, okay, because it goes over the other building. Okay.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
Because the first and second floor, the other part was used for other things like hospital operations. Anyway, Susan's got this one picture. So this is a mirror image. Here we are, we're C, we're third floor. There's one more floor up. So our spirits could be here almost any time of day. So it's probably about 1:30 p.m. We're having this function for a retirement party for one of the wardens. So one of the investigators, not a paranormal investigator, the Nevada Department of Correction criminal investigator, he has his wife up here. She's beautiful. She looks like Marie Osmond when she looked like she was 25. So anyways, she's standing here, one floor up. It's just the same thing. Don't come in here, just stay here. Anyway, she captured a picture. Susan had to show it to you. We call him Mr. Tall Pants. It's like a real tall pair of Levi's stepping forward where you can see the sun hitting his leg and the shadow in the pants, but there's fog everywhere on the floor.
What?
Just like a tall pair of pants. Like
And it gave off a shadow also?
I'm saying I've ever. Now, you can see when you look down that tier, you can see that door in the middle.
Yeah.
So we're in A section, and that's B section. So go to 3 west, go down there to the B section, and you'll see my sign where an inmate got killed, got beat to death. And that's where we set up the plank where the music boxes are going off. So that's a pretty hot area down there.
Down here?
Yeah. And there's another one too. No, we're not gonna go there. You guys
Oh, okay.
gotta investigate it yourselves.
Okay. Okay.
That way you don't have us breathing down here.
I like that sign, Joe. Beware a ghost.
Yeah.
Beware a ghost.
It's right over there, yeah.
So I got my neighbor's got a big old pit bull. There's times I'll bring him out here. This tier here would be 2A west, That's where the inmate, where they fill the light bulb up with gas.
Oh,
Lit him on fire. So there's been a couple times I'm up here, my dog's up here. I look over and my pit bull, he's all yoked up. But the way his body was, his body movement, his like tail's like, he's like looking weird. He's looking like right there, man, like some spirit's talking to him or
Like
something.
something strange.
Yeah, something strange, man. It's like he's communicating somehow. And,
I've heard that about dogs before.
so here we are on the second floor. This is the way to the death chamber.
Second floor.
Just use the hand,
It's nice and cool up here.
Yeah. The other room might not be so.
And these are the cells where
Last night's cell.
last night's cell. Okay.
But we're gonna go in them. Come on up.
So from there, that's where the inmates would walk in.
Yeah, we're gonna give you the layout. Come on in. Go down that tier. Go into number 6, walk in and turn around and look up.
Come on in. Oh, yeah, from the Shining, but he's got a cigar or a cigarette. Right. You could have made it one. Dude, imagine. This is.
That's funny. It's chill.
In Gila County Jail, second floor, first cell to the right. It's got a archivo also.
Does it?
Yeah, same thing. I know because I spent the night. That's where I had my shirt tugged.
That short entrance is more cells. So this was the original first death row for Nevada.
I got the chills right now when we were opening the doors.
So you think about it. Come on up here. You're an inmate. We're hooking your ass up. You're gonna take the last walk of your life.
So this is the way.
Right to the fellas. Come on.
Yeah, so this is the last things they see, right? Going into the chamber.
Go on in there. All the way in. Unfortunately, I don't know what Yahoo decided to cut these bars out. You can see how short this door was. But anyways, these are the last night cells. So our death chamber in here, you'll see in a minute, it had 2 chairs in there. So they could gas 2 at a time. That's why you had 2 last night, so
Oh.
2 guys at a time.
Really?
I don't know if we ever did that. I've been told they did it once. Now up in the state of Washington, they used to hang inmates up there, and they have a floor. I think they have, let's say 7 or 12 panels where they could hang like 7 days at a time. Used to get busy back in the early 1900s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So this is basically like a submarine door. You know, it's your turn, call you up, you're all hooked up, get you in here. Come on, check this room out too. I know I'm kind of rushing you, but you guys
No.
have plenty of time.
Yeah, thank you. That's fine.
Yeah, go in there and that little office.
Oh, okay.
Now look up, see that valve by your face, it's fresh air.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when it was gas chamber.
I'm assuming this was the gas.
So you could flip the switch, right? Lights. Hear that fan come on? Oh yeah. And then when they switched it, it went from gas chamber, let's back up. That gurney is for the lethal injection. The gas chamber, you had 2 chairs in there. So when it went to lethal, then you had hoses in here, you know, hook the dude up intravenously. Then you had Nurse Ratchet in here.
Wow.
Just a quick story. Step back, Mike. Yeah. You see you can see the more modern hill, all the other units.
Yeah.
So, you know, next time you guys come up, you can investigate up there too. That's a whole nother night up in there. You see your outer perimeter and inner perimeter fence. It was probably 1981, the AWs recruited this youngster. They said, you know, dude, you need to make a break for it, man. Show him how it's done. So the kid come running out, full steam for the inner fence. He made it up and over. It was somewhere in there, one of the guards shot him with a 30-06. Caught him on the backbone, man, severed his spine. His shirt's hanging on the fence. And the warden said, just leave that fence up. I guess that shirt blew in the wind for, I don't know, a month or something out there. Little message to the fellas, don't fuck around.
Yeah?
30 on 6.
Close that door.
I got one. Yeah.
Sorry.
These are the fellas.
First execution.
So if you say some inmate murdered your brother, your father, whoever, and you wanted to come watch that bastard die, this is where you come. And they'll bring a dude in through that submarine door, strap him down, and hook him up. When I started here, this guy here, Jesse Bishop, he was 1979, he was the last guy to die in the gas chamber. So all these guys are gas chamber. When I started here in '85, this dude was here, everybody was here. Then they built Ely. So I remember this guy, but somehow he ended up in Ely. Yeah, well, they ended up killing him. When Ely opened, they didn't have an official death chamber, so they actually used this for a couple guys. Like this schmuck here, he was there. This guy, he's out of Reno, he's just a loser, man. He killed some woman, he just, piece of shit. This dude here, Tom's Ball, he's white. Dude is a badass, man. If you're in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco, this is why the West Coast of the United States hardly has any executions. When they appeal, these guys on death row, when they appeal their sentence, they appeal it to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco. You have your most liberal judges there. These judges are appointed by the presidents. So that's why your vote counts on who you're going to get in there, because they appoint judges. So San Francisco has been loaded with liberals forever. So nowadays, when these inmates come in, they're going to be appealing to the Ninth Circuit Court. That's why the Ninth Circuit controls 9 states: Alaska, Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, Idaho. You just count 9 states around. That's why we hardly ever have any executions out here. This guy here, he was easy going as heck. He reminded like Kenny Loggins from Loggins and the Scene. That's a bad picture of him. Dude was nice as hell. And I don't know what happened, man. He was appealing and his number came up. He said, dude, your turn's up. And I was told by one of my fellows that worked in there, he's laying on the gurney. And his father-in-law and mother-in-law were in here. And he looks over at him and mounts, I'm sorry, I fucked up. They used his ass. This guy here, this picture don't do this guy right. He's he was a death row guy, and we have some other death row guys that died of old age in here, in Ely. But the rule of thumb was if you started appealing your sentence, these death row inmates are going to try to target you. For some reason, you're making them look bad. I don't know why. This dude he came in from Hawaii. He did some time in Hawaii. And I don't know if he's done too much of that ice or that high-grade meth out of China. He's in Las Vegas. He's at the airport. Some lady's driving the shuttle bus that'll take you from the airport to the car rental place. And he walks up and just starts stabbing her to death on the bus for no reason. I think our Nevada system said, you know what, dude, your criminal record, you're such a piece of shit. Death row. See, he quit appealing. He was ready, man. I used to work with that dude. Oh, I worked with him. Like I said, with him.
I work with him.
Huh?
I work with Mac over at the NCC.
Yeah, I remember that church. I never talked to that church. This little punk here, him and I think it was his brother. They're from like Vietnam or something. They're in Reno, downtown on Virginia Street at the U-Haul Center. They go in there to the U-Haul Center. Just regular people working in there. Did some kind of weird robbery, tied them up. Everybody's saying, well, they're probably just going to tie us up and take the money and get the hell out of here. These guys beat him to death with crowbars in there. Little piece of shit.
Wow.
He's one of those guys that his partner in crime, the type of religion they're involved in, he waited till the anniversary of the murder, and then their religion, that's when things line up. As he offed himself that night. Another little turkey, he waited for the state to do it for him. I don't know. We've got some pretty good stuff in here too. We got this one picture. You guys stand here. I'm gonna stand up against this window. Can you see me?
Just barely. No, not really. I can't make out your face, but I can see somebody's there.
Can you see me now?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just the white letters of your or the
Susan's
logo.
got a picture. She's standing almost here, where there's an image shows up, and it looks like an old warden or something. Man, he's got a white collar, a black overcoat, gray hair, fucking unexplainable.
Really?
Yeah.
Nobody was
So I've
standing
had
there.
like an orange construction shirt standing up there, and you can't even see me. It's just strange. The
Yeah.
stuff the cameras pick up.
Yeah.
Like, come on, let's go this way. Now this outlet here works. So if you guys needed to, I think I got an extension cord back there. Yeah, in this closet, there's an extension cord in here. If you guys needed power.
Thank you.
I mean, I've been in there with guys set up all kinds of tripods and all kinds of weird stuff. Okay, I'm going to show you one of the hottest areas.
I think next time we're booking during the winter.
Wear a jacket.
What's that?
Wear a jacket.
Yeah, it gets cold too, right? I bet.
Freezing out here.
Yeah, this area in here, like those music boxes, we'll set them up on the floor, pointing down the tier. This is called a bullpen in here. This is a dead end room. This is where that black thing was moving behind Susan's head.
Trying to grab her head. Yeah.
This is where I would, like, when I didn't know anything about paranormal, this is where I used to get, like, kind of attacked, I'd say. Yeah, there's some serious energy in there. That's one of, I think, one of the most active places. Let's all back up. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So what you can do is you can walk in there, set up, do your thing, check shit out. But you can walk all the way down the tier and come out that door and come down this hallway. And you can go in the rooms on the left also.
Okay.
And you can actually, one of these doors, I think that close one right there, it'll take you to that the old death row housing, that tier, it's called a tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys hearing things?
Sound like voices down there.
Let's,
Really?
everybody back up this wall and look down the hallway. Your eyes really can't pick it out. Maybe when it gets more light, low light. But it looks like a cross sometimes. The way the light shines off the walls and the ceiling and the floor.
Yeah, I
It's dark,
can
it
see
looks
it.
like a cross.
Yeah, I actually got
Just-
it.
Yeah.
It's like that on my camera.
Yep.
When the sun gets more subtle, it might show up better. That's why I like to get these floors cleaned up, man. I think it looks
It
better.
shows up pretty good right now.
Yeah, it is.
So close that door behind you.
Got you, Joe.
So remember, second floor.
Okay.
AP, these two, that's your weird death row. By all means, definitely go upstairs too and do the full circle. Walk
Okay.
the whole tiers. What you'll want to do is, there's inner tier and outer tier. If you're just walking to check it out, if you go up there like third floor, fourth floor, you want to walk the building, go on the outside tier. The outside tier is near the outside wall.
Mhm.
If you go inside, you're gonna get stuck in a dead end. You'll have to
Okay.
come back out, so just save you a trip.
Okay. Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, so when I worked here, remember I was telling you about those old round smooth bars where they could cut them with shoelaces?
Yeah,
They
yep.
can't with these bars. See the rib on them? These are super strong.
Oh, yeah.
So they changed these out in 1988. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Nevada State Prison lobotomy, I want you to watch that video. Because it shows these tiers. When I was here, we call this, it's a shit brown with George Sumner Brown. He was the old warden that wanted it brown. But it used to all be battleship gray, so it had a total different vibe to it. So you guys need to watch that video.
Yeah, I definitely will. Lobotomy. Nevada State Prison.
Lobotomy on YouTube.
Yeah.
Little interview Keaton on it.
Well, I think I'm done. Like, I'll see you guys.
So, as the state grew in population, so did our inmate population, so they had to keep building units as time went by. This section A in the cell house, that was built probably in the late 1800s. And the B section was actually built in 1948, and they built this one probably in the 50s. So when they built this one, this was used as their max housing. This is the worst of the worst that Nevada had to offer. This would be the end of the road. So this is 1948.
Go ahead. Oh, thank you.
Second half of that building. Of course, when we were here, you know, this door would be closed. Come on in. So, come over here, Mike. So for officers, all these doors are closed. Turn off this wall. So we bring an inmate in, you know, he's either cuffed from behind and he has his leg irons on. But, you know, we'll have at least 2 or 3 officers in here take his restraints off. He keeps facing the wall, and he hands each article of clothing back to us. We do an unclothed body search on him, give him a fresh pair of orange coveralls. So he'll end up having a pair of underwear, t-shirt, socks, hook him back up, and then take him in. The reason why I'm going through this is we're going to get into the story about the inmates that got some handguns smuggled in here. There was a hostage situation that went on for hours in here. I think there was 2 separate ones in here. Come on, this one. Here's our dumbwaiter. So what would happen, remember I was on the food cart I was telling you, and we'd bring those coffins in full of food. We'd have a steam cart in here. So you'd have a porter in here. He'd help slop trays, the officers, and get a bunch of trays on the carts and run them up. We'll take you upstairs here in a minute. So this tier here, like I said, this was max housing at first. It was max housing up until 1980. Then they built a more modern facility up the hill. Then they turned this into death row. So I think probably from 1981 till Ely was built in 1990, this was death row. So when I started in 85, this is one of my first units I worked. However, there's 2 different types of death row inmates. Majority of them, they did heinous crime, but they were appealing their sentence to the Ninth Circuit Court of San Francisco. So they're on pretty good behavior. They don't want to look like they're a total animal. So they would actually have tier time. Go ahead and walk in there. Go in there, go left, go in that little cell. I'm not going to close the door.
This time.
So that's what it was like. You had one bunk in there. And when it was max housing, it was you get 1 bunk, and then when it was death row, it was 1 bunk. Now come on in here and walk into this one. This is what liberal courts do.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, see?
Nice.
They made us cut out a wall, now they got a penthouse going on.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with the purple paint. Some pimp.
Here, I'll get out of your way so you can go in there.
So they'd have swamp coolers up on top that would blow cold air into the pipe chase. So whatever air was forced through those vents, that's what you had for a cooler. But as modern times went by, inmates were allowed to, have TVs, a fan, typewriter. Oh, yeah. Come on, this one.
They wouldn't get bored.
Oh, yeah. What we did is, usually about 7 in the morning, open up all the doors, and the inmates would have tier time. So they could walk and visit with each other or whatnot. After chow, we'd lock everybody up, and they come out one at a time with all their clothes, or their underwear, and their sandals, and do an unclothed body search, hook them up, and then take them out to the yard. We had exercise pins out here. One time, you get the inmates that their routine. You have a particular inmate that goes to the yard every day. This one day, we had this one inmate didn't want to go to the yard. Right away, that was a signal to me. Something's up. So we had this big black guy. He was death row. His name's Nitro. Dude was a punk. He was a manipulator, a predator. And he was taking stuff from other inmates. And they finally had enough of him. And so I posted yard, get the fellows out there. I'm back here dealing in the hole, and all of a sudden, Crispy Critter, I don't want to mention his name, he's up there in the gun post. We shot Nitro right in the neck. Blood bleeding everywhere. There's no skip shots on that dude.
Skipped off his neck.
The inmates ended up taking his eye out.
Wow.
Anybody been to San Francisco, San Quentin? No, I mean,
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz.
Yep, I have.
You been down to the hole where they have these kind of
Yeah.
doors? So this is disciplinary segregation. When inmates got involved in a fight, they're disrupted with other inmates or staff, there's some kind of incident where we have to isolate them right away, we bring them in here. These doors were court ordered to be removed. I'm gonna say 1966, rough guess. We found a few of them out there in the boneyard, so we took them to this, well, the other prison, they have a Silver State Industries, we had the inmates sandblast, paint them. You can go in there. We're done to shut the doors on everybody.
But when you close the door, it's completely dark, right? And that's how the inmate
Well,
was?
the one in Alcatraz is dark, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'll close this one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, the top. Yeah. Yeah, you get light from the top. Yeah.
When you see where that one telephone is, and that sign that says it didn't make that killed there. Yeah. Come down there and show you. So when my man was working here, the inmate was propelling things, coffee, food. We didn't really have much of a problem with them throwing urine when we were here.
No, I never.
Feces.
Yeah, we didn't really have that. Well, we had kind of a tier tender at the time. I'll tell you about him in a minute. Well, we put this in. When I was here, the other side was death row, and the top two floors were death row. And so one of the death row inmates he was pretty much a tier tender. He's still in the system. I don't want to mention his name. Big black guy. We didn't mess with him. And he slept on the other side. So if you're an inmate in here being an ass all night, this individual would want to come have a talk to you know who in the morning. So I've seen him do where he walked up there, the inmate's running his yap, and the tier tender just put his arms through there and said, "Come on." You know, they'll choke him out right through that gate. He's like, "No, man, no, I'm done." Someday you might see him on the yard.
Calm his ass down, right?
You know, that's true. Tier tenders. The tier tender is real popular in the southeast, Mississippi down there. But we didn't have official tier tenders, but there was a couple of the fellas that they wanted quiet. Right? So, see this gadget here? It's a solid rod that would come through here, and then it hinges and elbows down where you can put a padlock on it. We had this one inmate, Italian guy, he was in a punk. He came in here on a light sentence. The AWs were recruiting him. Somehow this Yahoo could pick those locks, and the AWs knew it. So they had a black porter in here. He wasn't a tough guy, he was a black guy, really dude. And Knothead picks the lock. AWs give him a shank, and that door down there is locked. He goes down there and stabs the dude to death. It's like, you know, for what? I mean, then he ends up getting a life sentence. You know, he's only in on like a 3 to 5 or something, you know, per snatch or something.
Finally got out recently.
Really? Yeah.
Okay, so back at that entrance where we were kind of using Mike as my pat down guy. So you had these two inmates. One inmate's name is Pat McKenna. He died at the age of old age. He was on death row. When they arrested Pat McKenna in Clark County, Las Vegas, Nevada, back in the late 70s, when he was being booked in, he just arrived at the jail on some type of heinous crime, and he ended up disarming the jailer. Now that Pat had his gun. Took the whole jail hostage for several hours. I don't know if it was 12 hours, 24, I don't know. But they ended up surrendering up on the roof. They had the helicopters, a camera looking on them and whatnot. He got sentenced to life, or death sentence. He comes up here. And he's hooked up now with another inmate named David Bang Bang Wayne. So you have Pat and David Wayne. Somehow these numbskulls have to go to court. So at the time, the officers weren't allowed to really go through their legal work all that stringently. So the officers take these two knuckleheads, the Washoe District Court in Reno. The dirty attorney slips in 2 pistols in each envelope. They come back, and I think it was up by that Sally Port where we were messing with Mike, because the officer's getting ready to look in the envelope, and that inmate just makes a move because they're going to get ready to skin search him. He gets loose, puts the officer up against the wall, reaches in, grabs it, and now he's got a gun. The other envelope with the gun, it was up in a sergeant's area. They never made it down here. So now you got David Wayne down here with the gun. They get all the keys and they open up all the cells. So at the time, this wasn't death row, it was max housing. See, the worst of the worst in here, the terrible people. They took the officers hostage. Finally, I don't know how many hours it occurred, finally, when the Carson Sheriff's Office got involved. They said, you know what, all this guy's got is a little gun. They lined up with AR-15 shotguns, whatever. They came in here, you know, punk, you got that little gun, let's see what you got. You know, and they just opened up on him, and he was down here. These are the bullet holes. They missed him. He was probably hiding back here. But yeah, that put the end of that little charade.
Wow. So this is it. Shoot.
There's one in here.
It's like the laundry
This is the bullpen.
bullpen.
Yeah, what it is, so Matt, they had ended up having 2 medium prisons in Las Vegas. When you left Las Vegas, you've probably seen it on going by Indian Springs. It said High Desert Correctional Center. I don't know if you've seen the sign. Do not pick up hitchhikers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen that one. So those prisons down there, they've always had staffing problems. Some of the inmates get a little too rambunctious. They need to come up here to the max. So we'd have these midnight van runs. They'd bring guys up in the middle of the night, line up mattresses, and then the next morning we'd have a planning and classification hearing to ascertain where we're going to put them. As the years went by, the Hispanic population started increasing more and more. And so it's kind of funny here recently is when these young Hispanics come up, the classification. So who do you ride with? Sereno, Norteño. You got the Tracy's now out of Vegas. They're hooked up with LA, Texas Mafia. Who do you ride with? No, I'm not the guy. So we got a couple prisons where we put like all Sereno, one's all Norteño. They said, tell you what, we're gonna put you in Lovelock. It's all Norteño up there. You gonna be all right with that? No.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna put you on this yard over here. It's all Sereno. You gonna be all right with that one? Yeah. Dickhead.
You should have told him now. Too late. Shower.
I know it can get kind of lost. We'll go to the infirmary. But before we go there, we'll show you this tier. Going on the inner tier. Got outer tier, inner tier. Go on the inner tier. Don't go in the cells.
This one's pink.
Are they open or are they closed?
Closed.
You're just gonna be part of your life, you know. Hearing that numerous times throughout the day, it's a sound that you just never forget. When Destination Fear Travel Channel goes up here, they had a truck on the floor and they had a camera on the floor and they had a fog machine and all these blue lights. And one of the doors racked really hard. I was like, man, this is gonna be a badass scene, man. It never did show it. It pissed me off.
Oh man, it happens.
Yeah, come on out. Remember Sergeant Rao?
Yeah.
He told me this story. So it was max housing. This one fat hillbilly piece of crap, white dude. Once in a while he'd be standing here, his back against the wall. An officer comes walking by. He'd hack up a big old loogie and spit on you. Well, he did that to this female officer, it was male. She said, "You son of a bitch." She went down here. See that brown firebox hanging
Yep.
up there? So the fire hose got that thing out and it just opened up on him and everybody else. Looks their ass down.
You know, Ralph, he was one tough dude, man. He redheaded guy, he was no crap. Maybe kind
Well, look up that hill. We'll take a little bit of a walk towards that when we're done. Like you go in there later, and you'll see a lot of investigators signing our chalkboards. You guys have to sign. So this is what's left of the old infirmary. You know, being an inmate's very unhealthy. A lot of guys get obese, get diabetic, end up getting part of their toes cut off, part of their foot cut off. So there's been several inmates that have passed in here. You remember Insa Wall? Insa Wall was a real creep hillbilly. So he, in order to stay in the infirmary, he like maybe slash himself and then spit in the wound. So he would spit in there. Because he's heavy diabetic and then he gets infected and then he gets to stay in here.
Wow.
And as the time went on, see we had a store in here, they call it canteen, inmate canteen. Where the inmates could order candy and whatnot in here. They had their TVs and whatever. They didn't try putting him on canteen restrictions so he couldn't get the sweets to help his diabetes. Other inmates would buy stuff from him. So they ended up taking, toes off one day. A year later, half his foot. Another year later, part of his leg. He used to joke, we're going to be leaving this prison one piece at a time.
Did you guys hear that noise?
I heard that, yeah.
Thought it was me, but not.
I saw you hit it
Yeah.
again to make sure.
These used to be cell bars, cells, but as the decades went by, what happened is they built a new regional medical facility 5 miles away. So this thing became more obsolete. So, like these were offices, but they had, an inmate needed a sitz bath after surgery or something, they had something set up for them.
I remember when Pat McKenna came down here to take a bath, yeah. I never seen him without restraints on. Patrick Wayne McKenna, Charles McKenna.
Oh, yeah. Pat McKenna.
I got in there, I said, you want to take the chains off? He goes, yeah, take the chains off. I said, okay. Me and Hanky, or not Hanky, but that old hillbilly guy, I was standing there like, oh shit, McKenna don't have any restraints on. He's the most dangerous guy in Nevada at that time.
Wow.
But he climbed in there and didn't do anything.
There you go.
Scary. He did die in death row. He was extremely dangerous.
This is where the nurses would sort their pills, kind of get rid of the pill call. Yep. Now Chris, you met him. He set up the doll for some reason in the mirror. But I'll tell you about the mirror in a minute. Come on over here. Stand over by this wall. Let me know when you can see my face in that mirror.
I can see it.
Okay. Because again, we had a group of women in here taking pictures. When they get home, they look at their picture, and there's some dude's face in that mirror.
Wow.
Whatever.
I'll have to try that.
So we threw another mirror in there. Crazy Chris put the doll in there. And then you can go in these rooms if you want. There's dental rooms, x-ray rooms. But a lot of things happen in the infirmary. You know, we'd shoot people, we'd skip them, you know, the 7.5 bird shot, bring them down here. There's not much you can, I mean, if you got shot with a skip shot, I never seen anybody die from it. But you just get peppered. You get that 7.5 fletache in your skin. And when they bring them in to wash you up, there's not a nurse sitting there with a pair of tweezers pulling them out. A lot of them they're too embedded in, so it's going to take time, and they will fester the shot out. So, you know, you get cleaned up, go back to your cell. Imagine what it's like laying there at night in those sheets. And those things are just festering. It's like, oh man, I'm miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. Close that door behind you, Mike. Trying to watch your head.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see, everybody to the right. Those stairs are kind of crumbling over there. Come on over to the right. You can kind of see where A section, see how the stone is more coarse?
Yeah.
That's the part from the late 1800s up until 48. And the smooth part was added later. So that A, B, C. Our t-shirt design, see the back of my shirt?
Yep.
We kind of took it off of that post right there. It's 3 posts. Good shot, so that's about good. So you see the red line on the ground. Inmates would be on that side, staff would be on this side. So you had, every tower you see or gun post, you had officers up there that had a long-barreled shotgun, a 7.5 bird shot, and they had a shorter gun with a double-aught buck and a Ruger Mini 14 223. So you're seeing the hill. If you guys want, next time you come top, we'll go up there. That's where the new max housing unit ended up being up there. There's another administrative unit up there. Mike used to work up there. I worked up there too. Basically, your general population inmates would hold 98 cases. So when it's chow time, let me back up. We had 3 officers stabbed up there. So they built the hill and they didn't have the fences. See that dark gray catwalk looking thing up there? It's called the gun room. So when they built those in 1980, 81, no fences, 3 officers go up there. And the American natives were having a beef with African Americans. And the blacks knew they were in trouble. So when the officers went up there, the blacks ran over and stabbed 3 officers just to draw attention to that scenario. So they wouldn't get stabbed. So you had 3 cops come walking down here. That was the operations area. They walk up there, one dude collapsed, but they all made it. They went back to work. So they did emergency legislative hearing, and they built that. At the time, that gun rail was $1 million. Did all the fencing. So it was pretty tight security up there. There's chow time. You'd have some search and escort officers out front on the red line. But when that particular unit got called, they'd come out and we'd pass search all the time. They'd come down and stop on that line. We had this one officer. He was a short little Puerto Rican hothead. He was out of Oakland. Never raised around guns, but by God, he was the first guy to start shooting and shoot more than anybody else. So he's the type of guy. You see that red line right up there? Just imagine a line right here. They had like, who knows, 90 guys lined up. The officers up there at the gun post. The inmates are standing there. And he's like, "Get your foot off that line." Sure enough. Shoots a blank. Boom! I tell you, you see like 90 guys laying down because they knew he was an asshole. You son of a bitch, you ever come down to the ground? We're gonna fucking take you out. They never did come to the ground. He did. He was always up in the air.
Knew better.
We had a black female down south, same thing. She was really shooting a lot, and then time for her to get to the yard. 3 years being up at the post. Have you heard about her? She quit.
Yeah. Some people get her that way. Some people, that's all they want to do is work a tower. I see that
She
tower.
quit. So we're coming down to the yard.
These are gun boys. These are towers. And I actually can't stand them. I'd rather be down on the ground dealing with the inmates.
Walking around.
Yeah. Walk around,
Yeah.
get the blood flowing instead of sitting there all day, right?
You know, you don't act like a tough guy. Just be yourself. You know, just enforce the rules, and they kind of, you know,
Yeah.
they kind of respect you. It's no big deal. You know, after a couple of months of getting called every name in the book, then they kind of get loosen up.
Yeah,
They want something.
they'll get bored, right?
They want something.
Yeah.
Let's keep that thing closed. This sort of animals.
The wind's starting to pick up too, right?
You know, one time I was coming out of that cell house and the door was wide open, late afternoon, coyotes.
Uh-huh.
You know how it is when it catches it out of the corner of your eye and you're for a minute like,
In a minute.
what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Ghosts.
All right.
I mean, you guys start wherever you want to start.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess.
If it was up to me, I'd start in that corner of that women's area I was telling you. I'd set
That's
up
where
there.
I was-
First place I'd go.
I was
'Cause I've
curious
seen
about
it
that.
Low light, and just shit ain't feeling right up in there, man.
Yeah.
And around here, it don't have to be midnight. This so-called witching hour. In fact, a lot of the customers. See, when these inmates were here, Well, come 11 o'clock at night, it's lights out.
Yeah.
These guys have jobs, you know, working laundry, working the gym, license plate factory, bookbindery. They had shit to do. They weren't up clowning around.
Yeah.
If you're up there making noise, someone's gonna check you in the morning saying, "Hey, dude,
Yeah.
around here, 11 o'clock, it's quiet time."
going to breakfast,
And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think the spirits are the same way, because there's people that are getting voices
After 11.
after. Yeah, they're saying, "Hey," they're basically saying, "Get the fuck out." Is what
Yeah.
they're saying.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll probably be walking around first, recording and stuff by myself, and then I don't know. Yeah, right. Are you guys probably gonna set up in one area and start investigating, or
Yeah, we'll probably see what.
and then I'll just catch up to you guys
Yeah, whatever.
if that's okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk around, like do a live on Facebook. Yeah, and just kind of show the whole prison around. Maybe if I come across something, then I'll let you guys know and stuff, and then we can go investigate later and stuff. Whatever. Then I'll catch up. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Whatever. We don't
Or
mind.
I'll leave you guys alone. You guys can just do your own
We
thing.
don't mind.
No?
We
Okay.
don't mind.
Cool.
Whatever.
Thanks.
I'll go open this door up here if you guys,
No.
if you guys want to hit this room.
What's that?
I'll open this door
Oh.
up and leave it unlocked if you guys want to hit this room.
Did we?
Let's go down the hallway too.
Did we go up there?
No.
No. Okay. All right. The restroom's gonna be open though, right? Outside.
Yeah.
Well, where's the courtroom is?
Go out there, out front, where the courtroom is.
Okay.
There's water.